Hi guys, it's me Chrissy. Today I'm doing an oil painting. This is a rendition of John Constable. It was actually Stonehenge he did in a watercolour sketch on an outing he went on to Stonehenge in England. It was in the 1800s, obviously, a long time ago. So I'm doing a rendition of it today in oil painting. Like I said, it was a watercolour sketch. So I'm just using some dioxine purple and a little bit of grey and some yellow ochre. I'm just getting in my sky and I'm not blending anything at the moment yet. I'm using a stiff round brush and just laying in my values. Now I'm going in using an old lint-free cloth as well to wipe out some of the paint and to give it some movement, as you can see here. And that also acts as a nice soft blend for me as well. But you can also use a blender brush. But I just prefer to do this method because he had a bit of movement in this sky. And I wanted to capture that slightly. Now whether we were going for like a rainbow or after a rain effect, you know, when the rains come down. Who knows? It was a long time ago. We don't know. But I liked it and I thought, yeah, I want to paint this. So here we go. So I'm still obviously putting them in my values in the sky. And I'm working it along the actual canvas. So it is a thin coat of paint. And I'm actually using some Galclean Light medium. So it's quite a fast drying medium. So I don't like using liquid or any harsh chemicals when I'm oil painting. But each to their own, yeah. But I prefer to do it this way. So I'm using my lint-free cloth again, just to give it a nice soft blend and move the colours around as such. So I want some of them darker values and some lighter streaks. So I want the light source actually over on the right hand side of this. Going in with some white, some titanium white. Then I'm going back in with my French ultramarine blue and some purple, just to get that nice dark value over the main stone in the middle. I'm actually using my brush here just to give it some fleeting movement. So I'm gently just pushing the paint around, giving it that atmospherical feel of like after a storm or a heavy shower of rain. And what I do, I don't wash my brush off. I just give it a good wipe and carry on. I don't feel the need that I have to keep washing it off or anything like that. I just give it a good wipe or use another brush. But I usually only tend, when I'm oil painting, to use 2 or 3 brushes anyway. But obviously the cleanup is quite simple for me. It's just give them a good wipe off with a paper towel and then baby oil and make sure all the paint's out and dry and flat. I don't use any chemicals to clean. That's my preferable way, yeah? But everybody has their own style and preference of what they use. So here I'm using some yellow ochre and some light red and a bit of burnt umber just to get some shadows in on the ground here. And I quite like the tones of this painting. That attracted me to it in the first place, using the purples and the yellow ochres and browns. I thought it was really, really striking. And I wanted to do my own rendition of this. And I felt like I captured it very well, how I visioned it in my mind, yeah, how I wanted it to be. So here I'm just using some sienna just to get the darker values in around the stones. I'm sorry about the phone call there. Do apologise. Then I'm coming in with another layer. Obviously it's all wet into wet. There's nothing that's dried. And now I'm going in with a nice dark rich sienna with some red. Just to block in my stones. I'm using a bit of ochre as well. Now, if you're doing this in acrylics, you'd put the darks in first and then layer over with your mid-tone values and then your light highlights. Because I'm working wet into wet with oils, I put my darks in next to my lights and so forth and work it up like you're seeing in the video. But if you do like oil paintings, you can do, obviously, your blocking in stage if you want to do it that way. Let it dry. If you use a fast dry medium, like I use the Gauquelin light, it was dry in 24 hours. And then you can come back and do another layer. If you're new to oil painting, I mean, and your confidence isn't that great, obviously, you can do a layer and then come back to it another day. But this, I've done this in one sitting. There's just a burnt umber I'm using. I'm just greying that out with a bit of black and purple. So if you use your yellow ochre and your purple, you'll get that green I'm using now on that stone on the right hand side. It's just getting your values in. I'm not too over bothered about the actual colours yet. I just wanted to get them values in. And it's changed a lot of Stonehenge from the 1800s, obviously. It's a lot different than it is today in the UK. John Constable was actually born in Suffolk in England in 1776. Which is very fascinating. You know, you can read up about him. He was a very interesting person to read about. And his father was a prosperous coin merchant who owned a wind and water mill in Berkholt in Suffolk. You know, he come from quite a privileged family, which is very rare in them days. You know what I mean? So he had a good start in life. And he had a very interesting colour palette, John Constable. Sometimes you'll see in his work, well, nearly all in his work, you'll see this pop of red that he likes to introduce into his oil paintings, like patches of red near greens. And he also used like a blobs of white over browns to like create, what do you call it? Like movement on the water or on the foliage of the trees, you know, to give it that vivid look. It was very creative that way. That the illusion of sun reflecting on damp wood and stuff like that. It's very interesting, the way he painted. And if you follow these guys from way back, you know what I mean, you can pick up quite a few tips. You know, I find it very fascinating because they all had the different styles, like John Sargent, John Constable and Monet and all them artists. They had all the different styles and creations, which is really a good read. Sometimes I like to just sit and read about things now and again. So I'm just starting in around these stones on the foreground. Now I've just added 2 hairs here. There was a little hair in his original sketch, but I put 2 in, but I do cross the one out on the right hand side because I didn't think it looked right compositionally wise, so that will disappear shortly. Gone. Run off. So now I'm putting my shadows in that's laying across the ground, obviously, so the light source is coming from the right side. I'm just using my burnt umber and some sienna and a tiny bit of light red. And I'm lightening up here with some white. Still with all that on my brush. I'll just give it a good wipe to get the reds off and then go back into my yellow tones. Soft blend, just a bit of a soft blend with the mop brush. I'm sorry about the bandage on my arm. This is when I actually recorded this. I'd burnt my wrist and I had to keep it covered. I'm putting some detail in, but not over detail on the stones. I just want that nice rough textured look. So I'm just to and froing through my darks and lights just to get the nice textured feel on the stones. Now I think I do come in with a palette knife, so that'll be coming up shortly, just to give it a bit more texture. Visual texture as well as touch texture, yeah. So when you touch a painting when it's dry, you can feel the texture as well as it being visual. This was great fun. I really enjoyed doing this, and it's nice to do different styles if you can push yourself out the comfort zone and just have a practice. It doesn't have to be perfect, obviously. Nobody expects anything to be perfect. It's art at the end of the day, and everybody's art's different, and everybody views art has a different view about art. So just don't be too critical on yourself, but don't put anything off. If you think, I don't know, I might be technically challenged, don't be put off. Just have a go and just see how you feel. It might turn out absolutely wonderful when you think, I should have done that ages ago. You know what I mean? Just try different things, because it's nice just to be a bit different with your artwork. It doesn't matter what other people say, even. You know what I mean? Just try and get out the comfort zone and create something different. Like I say, with this sky, it was different for me, but I found it exciting. I wanted to challenge myself and give that nice impression of the sky. It's not your normal sky, that's what I'm trying to say. But I think it works absolutely wonderful into the painting myself. So I'm just going lighter here, adding more titanium white, just catching the light areas that's coming in from the right side. Keep your eye on your shadows, if you need to darken them, do. Like I say, you can't actually touch the stones now in Stonehenge, unfortunately. It is all fenced off, which is a shame, but it's to preserve our heritage, I suppose, and all the wonderful things we have in England. So we have a lot of old churches and stones. There's stones all over the country, in Scotland and Ireland and England and Wales. So it's just to preserve stuff, because it is a big tourist spot. But it's still fun to go and see stuff. Don't get me wrong there. It's still a fun day out. So I'm going in between the yellow ochres and adding more white or less white, depending where I want to lay the paint. So just keep an eye on your shadows, like I said before, and your light source. Like here, I've lessened it a little bit because it's actually shadowed behind them other stones. Just with my detail brush again, just putting a bit more in. So I'm just putting this little hare in here running away like it's been spooked, and he's just setting off on the run. So I thought that was cute, so I added that in, and that really works nice into the painting, I thought. And I did this one, and I thought, because I left it in to show you, and I thought, no, I don't really like it. But if you like it, then you can create, like I said, your own artwork. But I wasn't keen, so I did paint him out. There you go. Rub it out. It's good fun, isn't it? I'll try again, though. I thought, no, I still don't like it, so off you go. Off you go, bunny. Bye-bye. So in oil painting, obviously you do work in thin layers, but this is quite as a thin layer all the way through using the Galclean light, and the actual thicker paint is at the end, because I do use my palette knife to give some texture. I'm just soft blending some more light in the clouds there. I've got my mop brush, adding a bit more purple here and there, just to make things stand out a bit more, because sometimes you lose your values, don't you? You just have to go back in and reapply them. So I'm just using my little painting knife now. I'm just putting some texture on these stones, which I think it really adds to the actual overall finished painting, personally. Visual and touch, when you touch a piece of art. And to think you were creating something from somebody so long ago was a wonderful feeling also. Just great fun. So if you've enjoyed this, guys, if you do, give us a thumbs up. Leave me a comment if you've anything to ask me. I'll get back to you. And yeah, share it out, like it, and leave me a comment. I do appreciate that. Oh, and subscribe if you're not subscribed. You never know what I'm going to come up with. And also, I've got a Facebook group. You can have a look at that as well. There's loads of links in the description box below you can check out. So thanks, guys, and I'll see you soon. I hope you enjoyed this. And bye from me. Bye.